Hi guys, welcome back from winter break. Hope you guys had a good break. Today we're going to do something a little different. I'm recording a lesson and you guys are going to fill in your notes here, and then tomorrow when we go back to class you guys will glue this into your notebooks. So this is kind of a little experiment I'm doing to see how this goes, but we're using Nearpod, and I think that you can, when you're watching this, I think when you're going through this, if you want to pause it, you can. But if not, you're just going to have to try to keep up with me as I go. So go ahead and put your name up in the corner here. So just in case anybody, well actually I'm going to collect these at the end of the lab today, or after you guys get through this. So go ahead and put your name here. And today what we're going to be talking about is exponents. When you first learned multiplication, you probably represented multiplication using repeated addition in groups. Basic exponent operations can be represented by repeated. This should be multiplication. So go ahead and write multiplication here. So you have repeated multiplication going on when you're talking about exponents. Okay? So over here, this is an example of what you have for your exponents. Okay? Now, the little b here that's on the bottom, this is called the base. Okay, so go ahead, write base, and you can think base b for bottom. So this number goes on the bottom. All right? Now, the number that's on the top, the little number, this is called the exponent. So go write exponent. Okay, exponent. So you have your base on the bottom, your exponent on the top. So this b, or this means b, what we're talking about here, this means b multiplied by itself n times. So up here in this corner, this is itself. All right, itself. So if you look over at these examples here, our base is 4, our exponent is 3, right? So what this means here, this is the same thing as this, okay? What that means is the base, which is 4, is going to be multiplied by itself. Okay, this is 4 times 4 times 4. Okay, so it means b, the base, multiplied by itself n times. So whatever the exponent is, that tells you how many times you're going to multiply the base times itself. So since there's a 3 here, you have 4 times 4 times 4. All right, so when you go through this, you start out with 4 times 4. What's 4 times 4? 4 times 4 is 16. And then you take 16 times the last 4. So when you multiply 16 times 4, you're going to come up with 64. All right? This one, let's look at another example here. This is 1 to the 5th power. Okay? The way that you would read this is 4 to the 3rd power. Okay, this is 1 to the 5th power. So if I have 1 to the 5th power, remember the base, okay, it means 1 multiplied by itself 5 times. So I have 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1. So there's 5 ones there. That's where the exponent tells me how many times to multiply the base times itself. So 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 1 is 1. Okay, so for 1 to the 5th power, you're going to get 1, just the number 1. All right, it's different than this one up here because 4 times 4, you get 16, and then you take 16 times 4. But since you get 1 times 1 is 1, you're basically multiplying 1 times 1 through the whole thing, you're going to end up with 1. Okay? So, if you can pause the video, go ahead and pause it for a second and try to figure out what 3 This is 3 to the second power, or 3 squared. All right, so pause the video. Okay, so if you were able to pause the video, I'm going to show you what you should have wrote. So check what you wrote and compare it to what I wrote and change it if you need to. So this is 3 squared. That means I'm going to do 3 times 3. And what is 3 times 3? 3 times 3 is 9. So 3 squared is equal to 9. All right? So good job if you got that correct. Okay. When we say an exponent out loud, we call a number with a power of 2 squared, okay, just like 3 squared here, squared, and a power of 3 cubed. So a power of 3 cubed. Okay, it's important to know how to say these things. When you see this, this is 3 squared. When you see this, this is 4 cubed, or 4 to the third power. Okay, so we got squared with the 2, cubed with the 3. All right. Let's go ahead and fill in these little circles over here. Any number to the blank power is 1. Okay, what this is 0. Okay, 0. Any number to the 0 power is 1. Any number to the blank power is itself. All right, what we're looking at here is any number to the first power. Any number to the first power. Okay, first. All right. Powers of blank will only contain ones and zeros. And this should be powers of 10. Will only contain ones and zeros. Okay? Alright, so now we're going to do some try it by yourself problems. So if you can pause the video, go ahead and pause it, and then when you unpause it, I'm going to explain how to do the problems. But first, go ahead, pause the video, and then come back later. Try to do the problems yourself. Okay, so go ahead, pause. Alright, so 2 to the 5th power. The way that you should do that is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Okay, 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. And 16 times 2 is 32. So your answer should be 32. Okay, 5 to the 3rd power. 5 times 5 times 5. Okay, 5 times 5 is 25. Times the last 5 is 125. So you should have got 125 on that one. All right. Let's skip over to this one here. 12 to the 1st power, and we have over here in the circle, any number to the 1st power is itself. So 12 to the 1st power, pretty easy. That's equal to 12. All right. I'm going to tell you a little trick here. Anytime you have 10 to some power, okay, the exponent is going to tell you how many zeros you should have after the 1. So 10 to the 3rd power, I know just by looking at this, I should have number 1, and my exponent tells me how many zeros I should have. So I just go ahead and write 3 zeros. Okay, so that's 1,000. The reason it is because, okay, 10 times 10, if you wrote out 10 times 10 times 10, which is 10 to the 3rd power, 10 times 10 is 100, 100 times 10 is 1,000. So your answer is 1,000. But if you see 10 with an exponent, the exponent just tells you how many zeros to write. So 10 to the 3rd power, 1, 2, 3 zeros. Okay, so 10 to the 5th power here, that's pretty easy. Write your 1. Then what am I going to do? I'm going to write 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? Count back 3 zeros. You're going to put your comma. So this is 100,000. Okay? Now, 10 to the 13, 10 to the 13th power, you're going to have a lot of zeros. 1, and then you're going to write 13 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's a big number. Count back 3 zeros, put a comma, another 3 zeros, put a comma, another 3 zeros, put a comma, another 3 zeros, put a comma, and you have a really, really big number. So this is 10 to the 13th power. Okay? So the reason that they write exponents, they use exponents to simplify bigger numbers. Okay? So for 10 to the 13th power, instead of writing this whole number out, they could just write 10 to the 13th power. Okay? So this is exponents, a little introduction to exponents. Once you get this all filled out here, make sure you have your name on the top and go ahead and bring it up to Mr. Hire. I'm going to collect those, and then tomorrow we'll glue those into our notebooks. Okay? So for right now, what you're going to do is go to Prodigy, and you're going to work on some Prodigy dealing with exponents. Okay? So hopefully this video, everything worked out here. But nice job, and go ahead and give that to Mr. Hire. Thank you.